Headsets on here. We're ready to rock and roll.
I could fly by the seat of my pants to do this.
Yeah, it's just all about having fun.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Okay, here we go. Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, FP Santangelo Jr. Both Bruce and Vern are off today. Each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question, and today's trivia theme is baseball team nicknames. Some are hard, some are not so. Actually, none of these are that hard. We'll get them all. All right. Now, let's see here. We only have a quick minute before we cut into our first commercial break, so let's tell the audience what we're going to talk about in the next segment.
So we're going to have a lot of different things to talk about. Of course, the World Series, I imagine we're going to talk about a little bit, and the start of the NBA season. A lot of things going on there, maybe some NFL refereeing.
Yeah.
It's up to you, Edward.
Yeah.
You're driving the show.
That's hey, listen, I love to have you on. You always get to come up with some really good stuff. The the NBA, it's kind of hard to tell the players without a scorecard now. There's too much shifting around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine, when they do the new video games from one year to the next year? You actually might want to buy this one this year because it's going to be way different.
That's true.
Yeah, because usually it's just the same game repackaged differently. But now everyone's all different places. Get the new NBA 2K.
I think that it seems like the guys making the jerseys are the ones who are driving the bus with regard to all these players changing.
Oh, yeah, I remember it was a big off-season story that LeBron changed his number again for Anthony Davis. And actually, they couldn't even do it until next year because all those jerseys were made. So that change is not coming until next year.
Crazy stuff. All right, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, still providing mortgage investments that are still currently yielding over 7.5%. In fact, last month it was over 8%. Secured by real estate, doesn't get any more more conservative than that. Check them out at Pacific Private Money. And what about those poor Chargers? They keep finding ways to lose.
It's not good. It's not good. You don't want to do that. And they're so talented, too.
Yeah.
And you finally get your guy Melvin Gordon back. Everyone's feeling good about themselves, and nobody can just find a way to get it done.
Yeah. What do they have, like 3 replays? And they challenges and everything, and lose every one of them?
Oh, yes. Well, the whole NFL is losing all those PI replays right now. I think only 7 of them have been overturned out of 47.
Wow.
So.
All right. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. All right. That's our first little segment.
Let me see the guy's name real quick. I just want to make sure I'm getting this correct. So Pat McAfee was the one that was saying about this, and trying to find it real quick. He was actually in our station the other day.
Okay. 26th, I believe. Yes.
So what do you want to get into first here, so that way I have everything kind of settled?
Hold on here.
I like to point those out. Not so much bad in the NFL. Not good. Offensive rumors could have some leg torn back in the NFL. Not so much bad. Right now, the ref brand is a lot of bad stuff. And the ref crew across the NFL, they're the most powerful team in the NFL. They are figuring out is a big time. There's a rumor that got leaked yesterday that there's a massive gambler putting a lot of money on every game that Clete Blakeman.
Clete Blakeman. That's his crew. Clete Blakeman.
And what's the specific scandal that, is it over-under type thing? I mean, are they going against one specific team?
Just, there's a gambler that's just putting money on all of his games. And whether it's for the under or over, whatever it is, there's just one specific gambler that's going on every single one of his crews, whatever crew he's on, or whatever game that crew's on, and he's been winning some money. So.
But they got to know, they got to talk to them ahead of time. We go, okay, this time it's Lakers, this time it's Boston.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's in the NFL, by the way, too.
All right, let's get into a little controversy. Yeah. All right. Actually, I'll do the Antonio Brown one, and then we'll do that.
Perfect.
Here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with FP Santangelo Jr. First, I want to get into which something we've talked about in the past. It seems to always come up. The this time text messaging from Antonio Brown, and it's going to cost him, what, $30 million?
Man, that's got to be one of the most expensive rates ever applied to a text message.
That's right. I have one of those unlimited plans. It doesn't. The phone company decides that they're going to charge me unlimited.
Yeah, but I think most people do now. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you got to
No, I mean there's no limit to how much they can charge me. That's what it's unlimited. Yeah.
I get you.
Not the other way around.
I get
But
you.
so, God, it's like I try to teach my kids, be very careful about what you text, picture, internet,
Oh, absolutely.
phone. I mean, post on Facebook. It's there forever.
So let's paint the background to this. So Antonio Brown was sending text messages asking for the release to Davis, the owner, correct?
Uh-huh.
And he's got pretty much evidence now that he was requesting the release, which voids the entire contract and the terms and all that good stuff. So it is probably one of the most expensive text messages ever sent. And it kind of got me thinking, like, throughout history, like, what if there was a text message sent for the Louisiana Purchase or for an historical monument or something like that? Like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. So I'm sure there's like some crazy Wall Street stuff going on, but this one, I think so far, $29.125 million for evidence that, hey, you're requesting the release, it voids the contract. Yeah. Here's the evidence. No bueno.
Yeah, exactly.
No bueno.
I mean, what is his defense going to be? I didn't mean it. I was just kidding around. I didn't know it voided it, but
I'm pretty sure he just goes, wait a minute. Okay, talk to me, lawyer. Oh, wait a minute, I did this? No, try to find a way for me to get out of this.
Yeah, someone hacked my phone.
Exactly. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
The other dude did it.
Exactly. I didn't put my signature by those text messages.
No, exactly. That's right. And then didn't he also did something to do with like threatening a witness or something, or posting pictures of her?
Yeah. So that was a different scandal. So that was the first scandal, which nothing led to it.
Okay.
Was I think it was a former personal trainer of his that he had relations with that she said was sexually assaulted by him, and that had no legs. And I think she tried to charge him, but the court wouldn't even take it because it was erroneous claims.
Okay.
And now I think the second one was there's another domestic violence or sexual assault, but these really have no legs. And there's a lot of people, including Dante Whitner, former safety for the 49ers, coming out and saying, hey, this guy, I talked to him. He's good. He still works hard. He's still eligible for a team. I think, he would go out there for league minimum, and he could really make a big difference to your wide receiving core, including the 49ers in San Francisco. I mean, they're 6-0 right now. Could you imagine 49ers with Antonio Brown, how many guys he would pull off that defense and open guys up like Kittle and Breida and Coleman? And
that's if he plays nice in the sandbox with everybody else.
Exactly, and that's the whole culture. And my whole thing is, though, I mean, Dante Whitner, one of the smartest safeties in football, one of the smartest analysts in the game. My whole saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay. You're 6-0, it's not broken. Don't try to fix it, because you can always over-fix something.
True. You're always, guys get hurt, got to get a backup. But would he take the minimum?
Oh, I think so. Really? Absolutely. I think he has to prove himself now in the league, and he just wants to win. He wants to play. He's a hard worker at the end of the day. This guy came from nowhere. I mean, he wasn't even at a top school. I think he was Central Michigan, correct me if I'm wrong, but Central Michigan wasn't really a big prospect, really created his brand and who he was. So he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he'll always have that for the rest of his life. He's got to prove himself again. Now, do you want that kind of a guy who's kind of a diva? Well, not kind of a diva. He is a diva in your locker room? I wouldn't.
I know. I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't. Yeah. But, Edward, I have to ask you, what is the most expensive text message you've sent? To maybe your kid?
No, the one that said, will you marry me? I'm still paying off.
Probably shouldn't have sent that in text.
No, they didn't have texts back then.
I mean, there had to be something from your kids that you agreed to yes, and you're like, oh, my goodness, I didn't think about that.
It's funny. I try to be very, very careful with that stuff. One time I did in an email, I accidentally hit reply all. But fortunately, all I did was call this guy a Yahoo when I really was thinking a lot worse. So I'm very careful in what I write. I was just not careful in who I sent it to.
Good. Yeah. Very good. Well, Yahoo, you could just blame that on autocorrect. I don't know what my computer was doing. Crazy.
And it's funny because it was a lender, and we were talking about a $3 million loan.
Oh, wow.
And it could have come back to bite me.
Okay, so that's pretty good. We're talking millions there. I haven't experienced millions there. I probably said something yes, like, oh yeah, I'll pick up my sister or my dad or something like that. Check. Exactly, and I go, oh wow, okay, that's like $200. All right, you guys better remember me for this.
That's right. I may have. I have to actually go back and look. But off the top of my head, that's the first thing I can think of.
I'm sure everyone's got a story, especially of an errant text message or just something that you didn't think was going to be a big deal and ended up being. Or a picture.
And it could be quite a somewhat innocent picture.
Yeah.
Like it's taken the wrong way.
Oh, always. I mean, Tom Brady scandal. You saw what happened with Tom Brady in the Netflix. I think it's called Living with Yourself by Paul Rudd, or Paul Rudd stars in it. It's a Netflix special, and he comes out of the massage parlor. He goes, first time? Oh, I've been here 6 times. And it's obviously a play on words, and whether or not that was supposed to be for, Robert Kraft and his scandal that he went through at a massage parlor with, sex workers.
Well,
it's just really interesting.
So one time I get this coupon in the mail, and one of those typical things you get for coupons, with a bunch of them, right? And it was for a massage down here in in town, and I didn't think much of it. And I go, okay, fine. And I got a little suspicious, but it's like, I know I'm thinking clean, and I'm just going to get a massage. So I'm getting a massage, and suddenly it was one of those, it wasn't like a full room. It was like a curtain type thing, right? And the curtain opens up, and I happened the way I was situated, you facing down, I kind of looked up, and some guy is walking in, and he goes, "Oh, okay, excuse me." And I realized immediately this guy's probably from the Vice Squad.
Oh no!
Yeah, I gotta think, because when I left it, everything stayed cool, and I didn't ask for any special treatment, and none was offered to me. But boy, it's a good thing, because I could just see, front page news, Edward Brown, and
You know what they say? Despise the free lunch. You know what that is from Robert Greene? 40 Laws of Power. Despise the free lunch, because everything is way too good to be free.
Yeah.
There's always a catch-22.
It's funny, and if you ever go to like Cabo or one of those places, as soon as you get off the plane, there's like 20 guys. Oh, hey, we're going to give you a free lunch. And I mean, once you're there, they just don't let you go, apparently.
Yeah, they get you. Yeah. They get you. It's like one of those timeshare meetings.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
remember those things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? It's interesting. I tell you, a quick little story about that. I was in Hawaii one time, and it was one of those, hey, if you do the timeshare presentation, we're going to give you and your family like a luau. That was worth, it took a couple $100. You don't have to spend like, 90 minutes. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I'm doing it, and, I know the whole game. Mm-hmm. So right after they make the presentation, they go ahead and you split up into one-on-one type things, and the guy's starting to open his mouth and talk about it. He's a nice guy. And he looks at me, and after he just stops. He goes, I can kind of tell you're not going to buy, are you? I said, nah. He goes, well, listen, we've got another 20 minutes. I can't let you go yet because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. So let's talk about, sports and all that stuff, right? And then he goes, listen, I got to be honest with you. He goes, I wouldn't buy from us either. He says, if you want a timeshare, go on the secondary market and buy the cheapest Hawaii or decent Florida one, and then you trade it.
Wow.
So I'm one of the few guys in this world who's actually made money on a timeshare, because I bought it for $3,200, used it, and then a couple of years later I sold it for I think right around $4,000.
That's a pretty impressive notch on your belt,
right there. Yes.
So basically, what you went through, by the way, was like free agency for an athlete. You're basically being brought in, you're being schmoozed, and then the last second you're like, hey, you know what, guys, I don't think I'm going to do it. And then they go, okay, how can we help you raise the price so they pay more for you?
Oh, okay, I like
because
that.
If they're going to lose, they want to make sure that they're making other guys pay.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happens.
It's sort of like on Shark Tank with
exactly.
Mr. Wonderful. He does that to Barbara or
so this offseason when Garrett Cole, who is a free agent, who's going to be pitching in the World Series, is going to be going from place to place. Yeah. He'll probably be honest after like the last 10 minutes after being brought around town and go, hey guys, I'm probably not going to sign here, but just want to let you guys know if you guys want to offer me something to raise the price, and then you can screw over the competition, I'll be for it.
Or give them a little bit.
Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Exactly. Okay, here's our first trivia question. Which baseball team was known as the Gas House Gang? All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back. Can I look that up? No. No fair cheating.
No.
So your dad, actually, then he's got to be quite happy.
Yeah, I'm actually going to D.C. on Friday.
Fun.
Yeah.
I know my daughter is in D.C. right now for school at
Oh.
George Washington University.
Oh yeah, you told me.
And she finally went to a Washington Nationals game, not the playoffs, but
Oh, they're so fun.
yeah. But Bryce Harper's not too happy.
I don't think he cares. He's got $330 million, and
Yeah, but you know,
the way that it went down too was the Nationals screwed him over. So the Nationals were going to defer his money until he's 65 years old. So they gave him a phony offer, and because they gave him a phony offer, they made him look bad, and they did a really good PR move by saying like, oh, he didn't want to come here. But honestly, who would want to take all that money deferred for? I think it was up to 50 years. So he would get it in 2052. Was the last
how come
payment?
that wasn't blasted all over the place?
It was, but just
Even he.
nobody ran with it.
Wow.
Nobody really ran.
You know, it's because Bobby Bonilla had a.
Yeah, it would have been Bobby Bonilla on steroids.
Yeah. Because he actually did okay with that one.
But Bryce was like, absolutely not. So then all the Phillies had to do was offer him a 13-year, 330, and like, hey, we'll pay the whole thing while you're in a uniform.
Yeah,
So
that's a no-brainer.
no brainer.
And I mean, they had
You never know. You can get hit by a car tomorrow. So
Exactly.
Take your money.
Yeah. I mean, that deferred stuff. It's just so they really weren't even serious with their offer.
no.
Why not? Though? I mean, why didn't they make a legitimate offer?
I don't think they wanted her.
Was he on the downhill, or was he just like
They
in
just
pain?
don't want him. So you can take that as you want.
Yeah.
But that's basically just a, hey, we offered you something. So that way that the Nationals fans that don't know any better are like, oh, he didn't want to come back here, and they don't do the research. It's smart. It's really good.
Yeah, but once that news gets out, then they really look like a bunch of yahoos.
Well, they do to the baseball community, but not to your average fan. That doesn't.
But if the average fan found out that it was really like, okay, you're going to get your money 50 years from now, I mean...
I think they did, but they didn't realize what deferred money means. Honestly, it did not. I look at all these stories. There's about 10 different articles written on this about how Bryce would be stupid if he took the Nationals' money. And there's nothing of it. Like, no news stations picked it up, nothing. It was just like, okay.
Well, let's start off with that, and then we'll go on to the
Okay.
NFL and the scandals. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown here, along with FP Santangelo Jr. We gotta shorten your name. I
You can just call me Junior.
Just call me Junior?
Just
Okay.
call me
All right.
Junior.
All right, that works. All right, which baseball team was known as the Gas House Gang?
Ooh, Gas House Gang. I don't know. Are you Reds?
No, they were in a red uniform.
Ooh, the Red Sox?
No, close enough. No, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh,
and
St.
I
Louis
believe it was the 1930s, if I'm not mistaken.
I was not
Could've been
there
close.
yet.
No,
Not
I
here
wasn't
yet.
either. Let's see. Oh, yeah. At break, you and I were talking about Bryce Harper, and I said, gee, I bet he's really upset about not being on the Nationals. But you made a comment about his salary that he would have been offered by the Nationals.
Yeah, so everyone's thinking, oh, Bryce, he's not a National. He should have taken that money with the Nationals. No, he would have been stupid if he took that money with the Nationals. So if you look at the contract details offered, and this is actually printed, this is well known, but for some reason it had no legs, nobody really ran with it.
Yeah.
He was offered $300 million for a 10-year deal, while he took the $330 million for the Phillies. But within that Nationals deal that was 10 years, $300 million, it was deferred into 2052.
Like all of it?
All the money through all the years would have been evenly split up till 2052. He would have been 65 years old until he got his last payment. You would be crazy to take that offer. So the Nationals, really good PR, just offered him something and kind of made him the villain for the Nationals, even though he was very smart to take that non-deferred contract with the Phillies, which was 13 years, $330 million. That means by the 13th year, he gets every dime and penny that was promised to him. And he doesn't have to be a 65-year-old guy to get his final paycheck.
Yeah.
It would have been Bobby Bonilla on steroids.
Exactly.
It's that contract.
And the time value of money, you know,
Yeah.
if he's got a good good financial guy, can invest that money and
Yeah.
turn it into some real money.
Yeah.
Not $330 million. Come on.
And it just shows you that deferred money is a big factor in these contracts. So whether you're not, you think your team is making a qualifying offer that's good, or he doesn't want to come back, he's going to go sign somewhere else. Well, look at the contract details. There's always more than meets the eye. There's always a reason why guys won't sign back with the team that they come from, whether they didn't like it or whether they just didn't like the organization, or maybe that the organization didn't like them, because it goes to show that the Nationals really just did not want to sign back Bryce for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It really shows.
I mean,
And
there are definitely some deferred comp plans that make sense for tax purposes. but not 50 years though.
Yeah, 50 years does not make sense. Other reasons, yes,
Yeah.
it does make sense to beat taxes, especially in California where they're
Yeah.
so dang high. But you don't really see that in other sports too. You don't really see deferred contracts in the NBA. You don't really see deferred contracts in the NFL. Certainly, you mostly get this. You get the signing bonus,
Yeah.
and then you get taxed on the signing bonus. So
Sure.
you'll get the $30 million, but then that's taxed.
I wonder how many players want to play in a state like Texas that doesn't have income tax. Now, the thing is, only half your games are played at home, and the other half you do have to pay tax on the various states that you play in, but at least half your income would be tax-free.
Yeah.
I wonder if that is a consideration.
Oh, it plays a huge factor, and I think that was a factor in Bryce Harper's decision-making because I know the Giants wanted him. I know there's another couple teams that probably offered him something similar of value, but the best fit for him was in Philadelphia, and it was the antithesis for the Nationals. The rivals now.
Yeah.
They're in the same division, the NL East, but I just don't really like how it was about Bryce Harper. They made this whole thing about Bryce Harper, not about the Nationals. Oh, Bryce is sitting at home. He wish he was a National, and he knew this was going to happen, especially after he made that D.C. comment when he said, right when he signed, I want to bring a championship back to D.C. I'm sorry, I meant Philadelphia. and he tried to get it by, but everybody picked it up and ran with it, and it's just unfortunate. But yeah, everyone's like, hey, Bryce, you should have signed back with the Nationals, or, you shouldn't have turned your back on the organization that drafted you. Well, it might have been the other way around.
Yeah.
So
we hear that part of the story, sure. Let's get into a little controversy. What you got there, controversy-wise?
Oh, so the NFL referees have been so bad lately that there's some legs that there's some NFL crews out there that are possibly tossing games because the crews have been so bad consistently. And I'm forgetting
a whole crew, not just one or two refs.
Yeah, it is a whole crew, and there's a couple crews that there's gamblers betting specifically on these games because they know it's either going to be a really low score or really high score, depending on the crew. Now, people will say and are speculating they've been so bad that they're actually tossing the games. And there's been a lot of players. I think Charles Woodson was one of them who called out, NFL, you need to investigate these guys or these group of people just because there's no way these calls should be being made, especially after the Lions game when they were supposed to be hands to the face, and you can clearly see it. He's just gripping onto his chest. It's been ridiculous. I mean, I was watching the game yesterday between the Seahawks and the Ravens, and DJ Metcalf is just mugging this guy the entire game. They're not calling a single thing.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. I know Mike Pereira, former NFL referee, former chairman for NFL referees too, came out and said that recently the NFL plays per game is down almost 2 to 4 plays per game. So it's actually going down because there's just so many penalties being called. And it just makes you go to think, like, what's the reasoning behind this? Is it replay? Is it because all the great chairs in the NFL that were there previously, like Mike Pereira, being taken by these networks and getting paid lots of money, almost triple their salary as an NFL referee, to go work at NBC Sports, to go work at this place or ESPN or whatever have you, or NFL Network? And I think it's a little bit of both because you kind of lose that skill. It's almost like, I don't know if you noticed when you first started using the computer, how your spelling started to go down a little bit because you didn't have to rely on perfect spelling because you had spell check. So you had autocorrect. Second time we're bringing autocorrect up, by the way, in the show. But it's basically like autocorrect. So you start to get lazy a little bit, and you don't pay as close attention to the details. And I know a lot of NFL referees, former, and that are in those cush seats now, where they're getting paid all that money, are saying just that. It's going away, the skill of being an NFL referee. Because whether it's doubt, whether it's I'm going to rely on replay to do this for me, or whether all just the good guys are taken now. It's like a perfect storm.
I mentioned the computer. I don't know why my computer corrects me. I'm more gooder than I was before. Better.
You were the besterest speller.
That's a good one. I like that, the besterest.
The besterest.
Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking about this with just thinking out loud now. The refs, it's like how many times can they call something that's like too obvious?
Yes, and I know holding calls were up 80% since last year. 80%, that's insane. So holding calls are a big one right now just because anything can be really taken as a holding call. It's up to the discretion, really, of the referee. And I think that they're getting so touchy and they're so worried about replay in general, too. And the camera angles are so good because if they miss it, they're going to be held accountable. They're going to be, why didn't you call that holding call? And then they're going to be put on spot, so they might as well just call it.
Yep.
Even if it's the littlest thing.
But see, that's the other part, though, is that they call it, and then you look at replay and you go, how could they call that?
Yeah, and they're so afraid with pass interference. That leads me into the pass interference challenges that haven't been turned over. So last time I checked, I don't know after this past weekend what the updated statistics are, but going into this weekend, 47 challenges, 7 were overturned, and those 7 were blatant. Like, they were getting absolutely mugged for pass interference. And they want to make sure they keep it that way because they don't want the little tit-for-tat stuff that the holding calls have become.
Yeah.
Because now if you start to review it like that, I mean, one guy touches another guy and maybe just throws them off his route a little bit, but that's just football.
Yeah.
It's gamesmanship.
Yeah. I mean,
and then you're going to start calling that. So I think even though fans are going to be a little upset that they're not overturning it unless guys really get mugged, I think that's the way it should be. So that way you go back to that NFC Championship game last year, the Saints and Rams. That was a mugging. That was one of the worst ones. So you want to make sure those blatant ones aren't missed. And maybe not the tit-for-tat ones, or else you're going to be seeing a lot more yellow. And it's not going to be the Green Bay Packers or another team that's in it.
Well, and can't they change? They can change the rules too about like what you're allowed to throw a challenge flag for.
Yes, they always try to change the language, and you got to become almost a lawyer at that point. Look at the rule book, but it's really, really difficult, and it is a black eye between the NFL and the refereeing community if they have to change a rule in the middle of the season. So they're really trying to avoid that.
True.
But for me, holding calls are huge right now. I want to see a lot less of them. I just want to see the guys play. It really ruins the rhythm of the game for me too. Like when there's a drive going on and you know somebody's just lighting it up. You got Lamar Jackson driving down the field. You got Russell Wilson driving down the field, and then all of a sudden yellow. Oh, here we go. Isn't that the first thing you say? Oh, here we go. Yeah. Maybe if it's like, 3rd and 12 and the play didn't go right, you're like, oh, wait a minute, we might be saved by this flag. But besides that, it's like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
So suddenly it'll be football will be like basketball used to be a non-contact sport.
Yeah, really, seriously. Well, everybody's always joked about that because, the QB is overprotected now. Yeah. Receivers are overprotected now. The defenses have a chance.
That's the thing. Too much money on it. And, Russell Wilson gets hurt, and it's like, people are going, well, okay, who's the backup quarterback? Do I really want to watch this game that much?
Oh, exactly. It really derails the season. Look at the 49ers last year.
Yeah, Garoppolo got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Mullen did a good job coming in, replacing him, and he's actually a really good backup QB, but he's not Jimmy Garoppolo.
No.
It's just the facts.
Maybe they could put tutus on these guys and flags. And then
I'm sure I think there's a South Park episode about that, actually.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. All right, you ready for our next trivia question?
Bring it on.
Okay, I think you'll know this one. You should know the next two. Even though you weren't born then, you still should know this, all right? Of course, I wasn't even born then either. Which baseball team was known as the Boys of Summer? All right, that's our trivia question. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. See if you know the answer to this question. Which baseball team was known as the Boys of Summer? All right, when we come back, don't you have another controversy with the NBA?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I do, yeah.
Pretty sure you do? Yeah, because I just saw in Sports Illustrated they had Tom Donaghy, little thing about him, and he says, yeah, if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't do it. Jay, really? I mean, getting caught is not an easy thing to do. Yeah. All right, one more time I'm going to ask this trivia question. Which baseball team was known as the Boys of Summer? And stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
The one I actually have on the NBA is Chris Sheridan of The Athletic wrote a piece saying that there's about to be $500 million of losses due to the China thing.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And they're going to have to maybe think about an expansion team to make up for those losses.
How would that help? I mean, just
because you're bringing it to a new market.
Yeah, okay, I get it. Makes sense.
I can send you the article if you want me to.
Sure.
Okay, I'll text you it real quick, and then you can check it out. There you go. I sent it to you.
Okay. So when you go to Washington, D.C., are you going to be in the booth with your dad? Or?
No, so he's doing a pre- and post-game show for Madison. So he's doing like the pre- and post-game stuff for like the local network.
Wasn't he a play-by-play guy?
No, he is, yeah, but
Yeah.
the radio booth doesn't like the TV guys going back and forth. It's like a weird deal. We're very lucky here in the Bay Area. We're Kefren Kruko and Dave Fleming and John Miller. They don't care. They're all friends. So, but let's see. Seattle, Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas is the one that I would go to.
Yeah.
Mexico City and London top the list. Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, that would be, I could see that, especially with the Wildcats where they are. Yeah.
Vancouver, Montreal.
Vancouver already lost the Grizzlies. Sure you want to do that again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you have any ideas for where to put these teams, we could get into that. So
San Antonio needs a second one. How's that?
San Antonio. I think LA needs another team.
Yeah, it's not a third one. All right. Let's do it. Yeah, this is our longer segment, and we'll make sure.
Cool.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Junior. Easier than saying FP Santangelo Jr.
Yeah.
FP Santangelo Jr. That's 8 syllables.
I can't even count that high.
I need to take off my shoes and socks for that one.
Yep.
All right, which baseball team was known as the Boys of Summer?
Kansas City Royals? I don't know.
No, Brooklyn Dodgers.
Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah, remember those guys? Okay, the next one you definitely know. All right. Let's see. We're during break, you and I were talking about the NBA with a potential expansion team.
Yeah, so you guys might have heard about this, but, a couple guys were talking about China and what's going on over there, and it turned into this huge, huge deal. Of course, I'm talking specifically about the Houston Rockets GM, and he made comments about China and what's going on over there with the protests in Hong Kong, and it led to substantial losses, ranging from $500 million to $1 billion is the estimate. So Adam Silver and company, that is not the owners, they like to be called the governors, because owners that's not acceptable.
That's the stupidest thing. I mean, if I owned a big company, the guys who work for me are employees.
Exactly.
They don't call me a governor, right?
Yes.
It's not a slave type thing. And you can even say the players are employees. That's all. But go ahead.
Well, anyways.
They don't own the players.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The NBA governors
Yes.
and Adam Silver got together, and they're actually possibly trying to make up for these losses with an expansion team or two.
Okay.
Now, some cities that have been brought up are the typical ones, Seattle and Vancouver, the ones that already had franchises, but they're looking at the smaller markets like Oklahoma City and Sacramento and going, wow, okay, these guys are doing really well just because of how small they are and how much return they're getting every single year. Mm-hmm. They're rabid fans over there, and it's such an accessible sport that it doesn't matter. You don't really need a huge city to do well.
Yeah.
So they're thinking about expanding to Las Vegas, Louisville. Mm-hmm. I think I saw Anaheim even on there, which is another LA team. So a third LA team. Yeah, that would work out.
Oklahoma,
yeah.
Kansas City. Remember they used to have the Royals.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about another town in Tennessee that's blowing up. Nashville. Nashville was on the list too. So the one I would always want to say, and I've been saying this for years, is Las Vegas. It just makes so much sense, and I always thought a baseball team would make sense there too. Now, there is discussions, and this might be just Rob Manfred playing hardball with the city of Oakland, talking about taking the Oakland A's and moving them to Las Vegas. But I always thought the Maloof brothers in Sacramento were going to take the Kings, and they have the Palms over there. They own the Palms in Las Vegas. Okay. They're going to bring the Kings over with them and make the Las Vegas Kings. And I told everybody they should make jerseys looking like cards, like playing cards. Like the King. I told everybody I buy that jersey in a heartbeat. That is one of
that would be pretty good, especially the King of Hearts Suicide King.
Exactly. But of course, back then, gambling was frowned upon. Oh, we're not gonna. You can't gamble in this league. Come on, what are you doing? You're a degenerate if you gamble. Well, now the NBA is like, open arms, like, yeah, baby, let's go. I want this. This is revenue.
That's it.
This is going to create interest. So, the NBA, they're always very liberal with the directions where they go, except for this whole China thing. But that's another story.
Yeah.
So
the Raiders going to Vegas. Yeah, gee,
it makes sense.
What do you think that's going to do gambling-wise?
Exactly. But everybody's kind of scared away right now of Vegas just because of one thing in particular. The Las Vegas Golden Knights were there when a tragedy happened. And because of that tragedy, they really just latched onto that team. So they think that's a huge writing factor to why that market exploded for hockey. Because, let's be honest, it's Las Vegas, it's in a desert. Why does anybody care about hockey? Well, they needed that for a healing process, and sports is the best because it is such a great healer. So a lot of markets and teams are thinking, okay, well, we want to move to Vegas, but, the Golden Knights are always going to have that city because of what happened there in the tragedy and the shooting.
Really?
Yes, that is a huge factor. And,
why?
And the Raiders are going to have to play a little catch up too. Now they're very lucky because they're right by L.A. and L.A. is still a Raider town, man. I went down there a couple weekends ago, and I asked everybody, "What's your favorite team?" Oh, I don't like the Rams at all. I'm a Raider fan.
Wow.
Everybody's still a Raider fan down there, so they're gonna do pretty well in Las Vegas. They probably should have moved the Chargers to Las Vegas and the Raiders down to L.A. But
Vegas would have sent them back.
probably, especially after these couple games.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought Las Vegas would have been a great place for basketball, and I thought it would be a great place for baseball because the ball absolutely flies there too. It would be probably even
we'd have to do
more offensive. Oh yeah, you'd have to do indoor, but it'd be more offensive because of the altitude, probably, and because of the dry air more than Colorado. Out in Coors Field, so it'd be fun baseball to watch.
I was thinking about for expansion teams. I could see Louisville. The Wildcats for college.
Oh yeah.
UNLV in Vegas, big college.
Oh yeah, they love their basketball.
Yeah. So any team or any city that or Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma's not it's more football, but any college big basketball. Now Duke, you got the Bobcats and. It's kind of
you still got stuff over there. Yeah. So you just got to look at a market and see what really needs a team or really would want a team. Portland, Oregon. Yeah. Everybody says Portland would be a great baseball town. They say that would be a great town for anything because they just really want to root for something. They've adopted
the Mariners probably is who they root
for. They root for the Mariners, but they'd still root for their own town or their own team. So they've always wanted something over there. Nashville, everybody's talking about. You got to move to Nashville. You got to get a baseball team in Nashville. A basketball team in Nashville would be great too. There's a lot of talk about Mexico City too, and then London. But I don't think that technology is just there yet.
Well, London would be too hard because it's too much travel.
Way too much travel.
Yeah, Mexico City, even that, and that's pretty high altitude too, isn't it?
Yes. It would affect baseball. I don't know how it would affect the athletes so much in basketball. Maybe just because it'd be really hard to run up and down the court that long, and the limited oxygen in the air. But
how did the Denver Nuggets do it?
Somehow, some way.
I wonder if they depressurize things or something.
I wouldn't be surprised. They do that with the baseballs in Colorado. They put it in a humidifier and make the baseballs heavier.
Oh no, man! We like to see the ball fly.
Yeah, right. Well,
chicks dig the long ball.
People always say like, "Oh, weird, the ball's really flying out today. I wonder if they forgot to put it in the humidifier." So there's always that going around. But it's interesting. It's fun to speculate. Everybody always like, oh, we need a team. We would love a team. But you got to really look at the data. You got to see if, the market is at the right time. You got to make sure that you have cheap land to build anything there. There's all these different factors that
for basketball, that's relatively speaking inexpensive because they would get like 25 or 30,000 at the most.
Yeah, the arenas are pretty small. I went over to the Chase Center for the first time, the new Golden State Warriors Stadium last Friday, and that thing is tiny and compact, but it is louder than hell. It is loud. And that was a preseason game, halfway filled, with nobody starting from the Lakers and Warriors in a preseason game, and it was still loud.
Man. Because they talk about how the Coliseum was pretty loud.
Oh yeah,
for the home team, and so if this Chase one's going to be even more, that'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, I don't know if it'll be Roracle, but we'll see because there's always different materials being made. It's always tinny, and everybody said Candlestick Park, for the 49ers and the Giants is way louder than Oracle Park now and Levi Stadium. So it's always maybe just
pretty loud. Yeah.
Maybe it's just like a bias people have, like all those memories I had there. It was way loud.
You know what? That's like I used to in sunny California. I'd tell my kids I would walk to school in snow,
Oh,
uphill
yeah.
both ways, you know.
Old Yankee Stadium was way better than New Yankee Stadium. Hear that a whole bunch of times.
And the old Polo Grounds and Forbes Field and like crazy stuff. Let's see what else we had. Oh, a little baseball, little World Series coming up here.
Yes.
First time for the Washington Nationals.
Yes, and it's very interesting, and I wanted to see how this is going to affect spring training sales because the Houston Astros actually share a facility with the Washington Nationals in spring training in West Palm Beach.
Ah,
Yeah, so they actually play each other about 1 billion times in spring training, and all those guys are friends with each other. So it's kind of fun. Like, oh hey, what's up, World Series? This is kind of a big deal now. So the Astros are heavily favored, 5 to 12 odds last time I saw. It's probably even gone up more in favor of the Houston Astros. But the Nationals, they got nothing to lose. So I'm liking the Nationals, and I might have a little bit of a bias. So.
well, definitely, yeah. But also at a break you were mentioning something about betting and some guy.
Oh yeah, so
a lot of money on.
So an individual, I'll look up his name right now, was trying to bet upwards of $10.5 million. He's done this before on the Houston Astros before the playoffs started. He was so invested in the Astros, like they were going to win. And
What were the odds back then?
they were still the favorite.
But
So-
I mean, the odds were not 2-1. You know, I can't imagine for any team getting like a 2-1 before, during preseason.
Oh yes.
Right?
Let me try to find this bettor's name real quick because I think it's up to $7.5 million. So he had a group of investors go in and try to bet for him upwards of $7.5 million. So it's his money, but he had to have other people bet for him.
Because
in
no
groups.
one would take that.
Nobody would
bet.
take that.
Come on, what a bunch of wimps, you know. Yeah, just bet the big one,
Right? So who do you have?
It's funny. I mean, the pitching staff for Houston is still really, really strong. So I think they're going to win it. Yeah, I think it'll go at least 6 games.
All right, I got the name for you right here. 6 games. I think that's about where it's going to be too. I really do. I hope the Nationals win that game 6, but I could see it go either way. So it's Jim Mattress Mac Mackingale, and he is a mattress salesman in Houston, and he's paying upwards of $7.5 million for the Houston Astros to win this thing. So you think he's going to be sweating a little bit?
Just a little bit. I mean,
I couldn't even imagine putting $7.5 million on anything.
I know I couldn't either.
Not even if I'm Bill Gates. You might think, oh, Bill Gates, $7.5 million, but that turns into a news story real quick. So you gotta watch out for your
When you're betting money like that, it's just I don't have the stomach for it. I mean, I remember it's funny when the Bears were playing the New England Patriots back in '85, and I knew how anyone could know. You know what I mean? I knew it. I knew the Bears were just going to kill them. I mean, their defense was just so strong. And so I walk up to I place, I don't know, $500 on the Bears, and I asked the guy behind the bookie guy, whatever you call it, the cashier guy, and I said, what's the biggest bet you've seen so far? He goes, well, actually, the guy just before you put 50,000 on New England.
Oh my!
And I go, oh man, that guy's gonna get smoked. And I mean, it was a walk in the park.
Oh wow!
Yeah, for the Bears, they just killed them. That was when I think
50,000. Well, it helped your line a whole bunch. So
it did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, that's right. I went up to the guy afterwards before, and I said, "You gonna lose." I said, "I'm sorry, but you gonna lose."
See, this always makes me think: does this guy really want the Houston Astros to win, but how much money did he put on the Nationals?
Good question. I mean, because sometimes guys will
If
do
he's
that.
got
If
this much money,
if it changes on there, they go ahead and
They try to
hedge
sway
their
the
bets.
line,
Yeah,
and they
they
hedge their bets that way. Yeah.
Not a bad way to
So
go.
I think he's going to make up to $3.5 million if he wins. So you bet 7.5. It's up to $10 million. So if you bet $10 million, it says it's going to be up to $2.5 million when he bet at the time, which is before the playoffs even started. So they still had to go through. Let's see, they had to go through the Yankees recently.
Yep.
They had to go through it wasn't the Twins, but I believe it was the Tampa Bay Rays, which went to 5 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes sense.
Ready for our last trivia question?
Go for it. I'm
Okay.
0 for 2.
0 for 2, but you'll get this one. Baseball team nickname. Which baseball team was known as Murderers Row?
Okay.
Okay, you know this one. We'll get it. Okay. Best if you can give me the year, the most famous year, but that's okay. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. Answer this question. Which baseball team was, their nickname was Murderers Row? All right, when we come back, we've got some thoughts for the day, and we've got some closing comments. We've got like 30 seconds before a break. Anything you want to cover in the next segment?
Go Nationals.
Go Nationals.
Just
that's
because I want to see a new team that's never won the World Series before.
Has nothing to do with your dad.
Nothing to do with my dad.
Really?
No, seriously, I always root for the underdog no matter what.
Okay, yeah, I kind of like that too.
Unless the
first time in there.
Unless the team's wearing blue and it's from Los Angeles. Then I'll always
We don't know
root
which
for
one
the
that is. All right, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments. All right. I'm trying to remember, where did you actually grow up?
I grew up in Sacramento.
Oh, okay. So you would have been still a Giants fan. Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, I'm one of the few guys. I guess the only time I didn't really like the Dodgers was in the 70s. Ron Say.
I just can't stand their fan base. I love all the players and I like the coaching staff. I actually know the coaching staff very well, but I don't like their fans at all. And then they were running over Kershaw's jersey in the parking lot and stuff
Really?
like that. It's like, come on. And lighting it on fire after that game. It's like, that's a Hall of Famer you're doing that to.
Yeah.
They would never do that to Tim Lincecum.
No.
And he's not even a Hall of Famer.
Where's Timmy nowadays?
He is floating about. He came for Bruce Bochy's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
his last game. That's the last time I saw him. I didn't get to talk to him, though. But he does it right. You got your money and just go live on an island somewhere. Don't tell anybody where you live.
Yeah.
And then pop up occasionally.
That's it. Yeah, I was reading Sports Illustrated, Tom Seaver, because I was a big Met fan back in the '60s, and it's funny because I was in Little League. I was on the Mets in 1969.
Mm-hmm.
They won the World Series. The next year in Little League, I was on the Orioles. They won the World Series.
There you go.
Well, I'm a good luck charm for these things, but yeah, Tom, terrific, man. It was just that was a really fun. In fact, that was back then. They only played day games, and when you're a kid, you don't really. I mean, they didn't have Sports Center or any of that stuff,
No.
right? And I mean, maybe on the news you get a little bit of highlights. So I remember we at lunchtime. I think it was even raining that day. The teacher allowed us to have the TV. And so we got to watch the 69 Mets.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and it was great. I still remember vividly Ron Swoboda making this phenomenal catch, and they even mentioned that in the Sports Illustrated article, where if you ever Googled 1969 Mets, Miracle Mets, Ron Swoboda, I mean, he goes like practically flat out. And Frank Robinson had said, he goes, man, he got lucky because 2 runs would have scored.
Yeah.
And, it would have been a different series. That was fun.
I love fall baseball. It's the best. So many memories like that.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with F.P. Santangelo Jr. I have to say the whole thing. Okay. Now I'm tired. Okay. Which baseball team was known as Murderers Row?
That is the New York Yankees.
That is.
In the 20s.
Yes.
Yes.
But what was their... I have here I have 1927.
1927?
But we'll give you complete credit for knowing it's the Yankees and the 20s. That was the house that Ruth built.
Yes.
Because he was, it's like they were doing kind of nothing for a long time, and he comes on the team, and suddenly they start winning. Wasn't
Weird.
a bad pitcher either.
No, he wasn't. Everybody knows him as the Colossus of Clout and swinging and hitting bombs, but no, he could pitch a little bit too.
The Bambino.
The great Bambino.
The great Bambino, yeah. That's so funny. I keep thinking of the movie The Sandlot.
Oh, yeah. That's
The great Bambi. What? Smalls, you're killing me.
Yeah. Killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls.
That's the best.
That's a famous line. All right. Tell you what, we got some thought for the day. You ready for this?
Yep.
What is the best thing to do when you have a hole in a boat and water is leaking inside? You make another hole to drain the water out.
Oh, interesting. That's true.
Yeah, they probably tried that with the Titanic. It didn't work. All right. And he who laughs last didn't get the joke.
I don't get it.
It's supposed to be he who laughs last best. You ever heard that with that?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Not in this case. And I already mentioned I have one of those unlimited cell phone plans. There's no limit to how much they can charge me. All right. Any last thoughts before we cut out?
Thanks for having me on, Edward.
Absolutely.
I hope
Always a pleasure.
Hope everybody listening enjoys the World Series and enjoys the start of the NBA season.
Boy, you got a couple of back-to-backs there.
Yeah, Lakers, Clippers, Golden State Warriors. Clippers are a name to be watching out for. It's almost like they're the favorite to win this whole thing.
Are they actually going to be a favorite?
Oh, they are the favorite right now. So.
I mean, they got everybody.
Yeah. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, watch out.
Yeah. I hope the Raptors don't not too upset that Kawhi left, but
yeah,
good player. All right. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective. We're also going to be asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week. So long. All right.
Perfect.
That's a wrap.
Thanks, Edward.
Yeah, hey, always a pleasure. How's things at KMBR?
Good.
Larry treating you well?
I'm actually with Greg Papa now and John Lund.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So Larry's on a different show, but
we're gonna have Greg on sometime. He seems like a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's the best. He is the best. He's a busy guy though. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the stuff he does. He does the pre and post for the Warriors. He was filling in for the A's, filling in for the Giants. He does the 49ers. He does a show from 10 to 2 every single day. It's just like insane what this guy does. He's a robot. He only takes 2 weeks off.
Wow.
All year
long.
long.
Is he married and kids?
Oh, he's got kids, but he's not married.
Oh, that's just say because
that'll
make you not be married very long.
He only takes the bye week off, and he takes the NBA All-Star week off. Those are only 2 weeks he takes off in any season. It's crazy, or just in any year. So 2 weeks off.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's a hardworking guy. So, but it's really cool working underneath it and see all what he does. So.
No, he's got that good voice too, and he's very knowledgeable.
Oh yeah, he's been here forever too.
Yeah, it's like these guys who are. John Miller's a good guy too.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
Funny, he's so funny. The first time I called him, because Bruce gave me his number to give him a call to see about being a guest, and he was he goes, hello, and I said, hi, John, this is Edward Brown. You don't know me, but Bruce McGowan suggests I give you a call to be a guest on our show. Said, oh, okay, well. Can you call me in about a week? I'm going on a cruise ship and it's about to leave. Well, why are you answering the phone?
That sounds about John. He's just a nice guy like that.
He's just a really nice guy. Did he lose a whole bunch of weight?
Yeah, he did. He lost a whole bunch of weight this off season. Yeah.
Wow.
Looks really good right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. When I saw on TV. I go, that's Sean Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, how did he do it?
I think he's dieted and started to walk and jog every day, and I think he did a lot of bike stuff. So. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, looks great.
You know, I want to get back down to 175. I'm like 195 right now, and I did this thing called HCG. It's like literally it's a pregnancy hormone thing.
Oh wow.
Where, yeah. No, it doesn't do any emotional thing, and it worked. I mean, I was living on between 500 to 700 calories a day.
Wow.
And I wasn't hungry.
Wow.
And it didn't take away from the muscle.
Yeah.
It was like the best of the best. The only problem is once you get off of it, it's in theory your stomach shrinks.
Yeah.
But you get kind of hungry, and especially working out and stuff. It was tough.
Yeah, it's tough. That's the hard part. Is like when you work out, your body wants those calories back, and you got to say no to them. So.
Yeah, and I just I like working out, keeping shape, and not losing the muscle and all that. And as you get older, it's harder. I mean,
Trust me, I'm experiencing it. I was working out at 5 a.m. 3 days a week, and now I'm like, oh, okay, maybe 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Maybe if we're getting there, and it's like lot less intense than what I used to do. So.
Yeah.
It's killing me.
I mean, see, and I'll be 60 in January, so you start noticing the loss of muscle, and so you try to just like maintain.
Yeah, I noticed that because I wasn't running every day anymore. Like the loss of muscle from like swinging a baseball bat, even like because you get your forearms get toned, and then your obliques and all that from just swinging. Yeah, and then your legs get big too because like you're sitting on your legs. And after that, I was like, oh my god, I just feel like nothing.
So then, what do you do workout wise?
Now I do squats still, and I do like a lot of like powerlifting.
Okay.
I do bench press. I do cleans. I do all that stuff. But like it's very very like less intense than I used to do. Like I used to do like crazy stuff. But that's like what
lots
the sports
of reps though, at least.
Yeah, I do lots of reps now, and if I need to build for bulk, I'll do like 4 times 5. So stuff like that. But the weight's like not like what I used to. I'm not trying to get PRs all the time. I'm like worried about my joints now. And, yeah, worried about being able to play catch with my kids and make sure I'm not blowing out my rotator cuff. So, but it's it's crazy, man. I don't like getting old.
We don't. Yeah.
Turning 25 in March.
Oh my God, not 25. That's
old. I'm in my mid-20s crisis right now. So mid-20s crisis.
Is that a thing?
And now it is. I'm gonna make it.
Well, are you dating anyone or?
I'm seeing a few people, but just like casually. So yeah, it's hard though with with this job demands and now I'm a year into this, and you never know if you're gonna be moving somewhere else like in a blink of an eye. So it's hard to commit right now. But
now moving though, that'd be your choice, wouldn't it? Versus
but it's like the next opportunity somewhere. So like it's gonna come up if it's gonna come up, and that's how fast it moved with KNBR and me. Like I was doing 2 other things, and like we want to give you this job. I'm like, all right, I gotta take it.
With KNBR, sure.
Yeah. So if things keep on going like KNBR, I imagine someone's probably gonna try to throw me somewhere into their iron and something like that. So,
I mean, do you think it would be like? Would you like to stay at KNBR? Like maybe if somebody.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Like if they paid more and stuff like that, and like they put me in a bigger role, and all those things considered. But sometimes it's not in the card. It just depends on who's there and if there's openings and what have you, and if they have contracts already there. It's all it's all like
small field.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it really is. So.